So yeah, I'm just trying to do some sketching and stuff like that while I'm just chilling, just thinking and everything. So I'm off work. Normally what I do now, right? I get off work, and then after I make my delivery and all that stuff, and I just like, I either go to the gym or find me a nice quiet place where I can just draw, either draw or do some sketching, yeah, things like that, and do some writing, and then yeah, just relaxing. After that, I would just go home, sleep, relax, then yeah, do it all over again. But so as I was like listening, sketching, listening, and all that stuff, right? So then I came across this the whole Carmelo Anthony situation. Remember that kid that stabbed another one because they told him to, like, to get out of there, and he didn't want to. So then so as thing go nuts, so he ended up stabbing one of the brothers that was like he had a conflict with, right? And then there was this whole there was all these so you have like people donated to the fund of this kid, right? So they donated to his fund, and it turns out that, like, there was like rumors of the mom or the family was actually just buying, like, buying things for themselves instead of actually, like, using that money towards his public defense. And of course they were like, oh, outraged, oh, this is a lie, for blah blah blah, what, this is not true, and all this stuff. All right, cool, no problem. And now fast forward, turns out, like, there's no money for lawyers. Like, okay, like, what the hell, what's going on here, you know so how come, like, you raise like $500,000, well, yeah, over $500,000 and stuff, and for some reason you don't have money for lawyers? Like, so your kid gonna get like a public defendant or something like that? It's like, wait a minute. It kind of gives me the whole Black Lives Matter vibe all over again, to tell you the truth. Like, you remember Black Lives Matter, right? It raises like millions of dollars for the black community, and but there's nothing. There's like no money, no nothing, and all you saw was the founders, the two lesbians. All you saw was them pocketing stuff, buying like houses and all that stuff, and it makes you wonder, like, where all that money went. So then now this whole thing with Carmelo Anthony, when this guy now all of a sudden, like, the money that was supposed to be for his defense is going to buy properties, a whole bunch of other stuff, and people are looking at it like, yo, what's going on? What's going on here? What's going on, Carmelo Anthony? So it's very suspect. And now, like, so the donation is slowly drying out. They're asking money, like, please, could you please continue to donate? He has to get a public defender. And he's like, what's going on? And people are getting tired of it. And the funny thing about it, like, I don't feel sorry for the donors, because it's a lesson that they have to learn. It's a lesson because they'll, like, I look at it this way, right? They were not donating money because they believed the kid was innocent, right? That's not why they were donating money towards. They were donating money because they felt like they were fighting against racism, right? They were fighting against white supremacy. They were fighting. All right, it's not what the money was for, it's what the money was against. So the money wasn't for Carmelo Anthony's defense, the money was against white people. That's why most people donated, because they thought they were not fighting for justice, they were fighting against white people. There we go. That's the best way I can actually um that's the best way I can actually explain why sometimes they donate to foolish causes. It's because to them the donation is ideology. It's it's, yeah, it's based on their ideology. It's not based on justice. Is based on vengeance. Is based on like, well, you know what? That's why when they try to fight, when they try to argue that case, they're not like bringing up like, well, they don't believe he was acting out in self-defense. They, when you really like corner them, so then or feel comfortable enough to tell you how they really feel. Be like, they will say something like, "Man, I don't give up. Do you know how long like white people been hanging niggas, right? So what? We popped a few, one of them, all of a sudden they want to act like it's a big deal. It's to them they look at it, it's justice for their ancestors, and that's why they donated to that cause. And I think because of what they have done, because of the stance of fighting supremacy, instead of like, all right, this is two kids that get into an altercation, it shouldn't have gone this way. So now, how can we actually, make sure we come together to make sure that like, the trial is fair for both parties, and then to come at it from a place of unison, right? Because I was watching this thing with like a quick the lead attorney did a quick segment on that, and he was showing like there was a missed opportunity. There was an opportunity where the family could have had a chance to make the best case scenario for Carmelo Anthony. Was, remember when this pastor goofy looking dude was having all these press conferences, right, speaking on behalf of the family, and then the father of the victim showed up on the press conference and he kicked him out. That was an opportunity for him right here to actually, let the guy stay. Or even, I think, yeah, the lead attorney break it down even better when he actually like say that, hey, you could invite the guy to the stage, be like, listen, we should, lead in prayer for both families, reconciliation, blah, 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 right? The tragedy that happened, don't frame it as a murder, frame it as it was a tragedy. It was, when hot-headedness, blood run cold, and then like people do dumb stuff, and let's just try to move past this. Let's just pray for a beneficial outcome for both people and try to agree in unison and all that stuff, right? He could have taken the opportunity and shit like that, but he was so focused on like, we want to make sure that, as a black teenager, we have to make sure that it is a fair trial. You try to bring race into this shit instead of bringing unity into it. You are so focused on trying to please the woke crowd, the racial crowd, you rather bury this dude, this kid, Anthony, right? Because try to fight some sort of racial fight instead of looking at it from a perspective like, yo, crazy shit happened. I wish the day would have never happened and stuff like that. But now let's try to come up with a good outcome. Because ain't no way he's going to be able to beat that shit from some self-defense shit, right? It's going to be very, very difficult. Because this dude pull out a little something, poke, like, bro. And then especially your supporters didn't do you any justice by like, all the racial element and all that stuff. So now the jury's probably going to find some old posts of you being, saying crack it this, crack it that. You never know. They're going to try to bury your ass now. Instead of like, once you were able to get the sympathetic, like, the chances that Carmelo would have for the public to be on his side has been ruined by people that wanted to turn this into a race issue, that wanted to turn this into a race war. So then now, instead of having the general public to be sympathetic towards it, especially white America, all they look at now is another black person that feel entitled to commit act of violence towards white people, and we cannot allow them to get away with it, right? Because they're now brazenly accepting the violence that is deemed towards white people, right? So they're now gonna make an example out of this kid. But instead, if you had framed it as just like two idiots get into a confrontation and then things got out of hand, and then now we're gonna try to get the best possible justice in this occasion, right? But then try to, like, prayer for the family of the victim, prayer for whatever, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Bring that unity to that level, so then you would have at least a better chance at a fair trial. But you motherfuckers made this a race issue. So then now white people are like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I got this black fatigue shit. I'm sick and tired of you niggas thinking that it's okay to kill us and thinking that, oh, you're just fighting for your ancestors. Like, I had nothing to do with slavery. Like, that's how they're thinking. Like, I lost my kid. Even the dad showed up as a liberal cuck and said things like, you know what? Like, I have no hatred towards the guy that killed my son, right? I just want, like, he was sympathetic. He threw you a fucking lifeline. It was the right time for you to kiss his ass and actually show unity and be like, I'm sorry for your loss that happened. Our kids, sometimes teenagers, they're hard-headed, but let's just use this opportunity to heal racial division in this country. You fucked it up for this kid. It's your fault, you pro-black motherfuckers. It is because of you. They will try to make an example out of him. The time to actually get the public on your side, you up that up, because you use him as a platform, as a sacrificial lamb. You make it seem that, yeah, these whitey things that they can put their hands on us. No, we gotta come prepared. So what? We had to put this motherfucker. He better learn next time to keep his hands to himself. You guys, you are talking that tough shit. You were talking that greasy shit. You were talking that part where it's like, it's okay for you to murk one of theirs. So then, by boasting it like this, by making it seem that it is a righteous cause to, to like put whitey in their place, and then you just like, you muddy the water. And then this kid, Carmelo Anthony, right? Like, what he did was wrong, but the way they're gonna do him now is because of you motherfuckers. It's because of y'all. Y'all screwed this kid over, right? And I don't want him to go to prison for a long ass time. Was he being an idiot? Yeah. Was this other two little white kid was also being Karens? Yeah. Right? So that was probably a fight that escalated to them. Like, I don't want to see him like waste like 20 years of his life behind bar or more, right? But because of the behaviors you guys were exhibiting online, y'all make it seem like y'all were just, instead of acknowledging that was a wrong, and like, now saying that, okay, what he did was messed up, but he doesn't deserve to waste the rest of his life in prison, right? They could have dropped that shit to like a manslaughter or something less than that. But y'all were talking all that tough shit. And then now this kid, like, he's gonna, like, I don't want him to get off, scot-free, but I don't want him to spend like 10, 20 years behind bar and shit. No, I don't want that to happen to him. Right? And to me, it's like, I look at it as just like, oh damn, another black man that's gonna get wasted in the system, right? But y'all look at it as in like, um, it's a sacrifice that is worthy of this war that you're fighting, a war that makes no sense, a war that like that was resolved years ago. Like the whole racial division shit, right? It's kind of like, it kind of remind me of these three Japanese dudes in an island that just keep fighting this fight when Japan has surrendered a long ass time ago, right? Because to them, they refuse to live in a world where they're not fighting racism, right? They refuse to live in the world where they cannot play the victim. They refuse to live in the world where, like, the content of your character is what matters instead of the color of your skin. They want to continue to live in the world where all bad behavior can easily be explained by, oh, whoever's criticizing me is racist, right? Or sex. They want to continue to be able to hide behind their skin, the color of their skin. And white people are just tired of that shit. White people are tired of you making excuses for bad behavior. They want you to acknowledge the knuckleheads that's within your midst. Because when you go to every sort of race, right? You know, you look at these motherfuckers, be like, oh, that's a crackhead. Yeah, okay, that's a crackhead. That's a redneck. Yeah, that's a redneck. They know the difference between the trash of their community and the outstanding people in their community. So then they try to promote good behavior instead of trashy ones, right? And Black America is tired of upholding bad behavior as a role, like a model for what being black is, right? Being black doesn't mean that you have to crash out when somebody look at you wrong. You know, it doesn't mean like you gotta put some respect on my name. That's not black culture. That's idiot culture, right? I go to a place where it's like, okay, there's like a camp outside or whatever, or like there's like a tent and stuff like that, right? I didn't put the tent there, right? I showed up. I could have been like, hey guys, listen, I want to ask you, is it okay for me to wait out the rain here? I don't want to go out there and shit like that, right? More than likely, they probably be like, yeah, no problem. If they didn't get any bad vibe from you and shit like that, they probably be like, all right, cool, yeah, just, just whatever, right? And if it didn't happen, be like, all right, cool, just move along. Like, I understand and be like, yo, they don't tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. They don't tell you what to do, right? You scuffle, whatever, fight happens. But now look where it leads, the ego. That's what happened. You were operating an ego and stuff like that, right? So you got into a fight because some cracker tell you what to do, right? Which, hey, sometimes you gotta fight, sometimes shit happens. I get it. Which is where I'm looking at this list. Okay, this kid, like, operating an ego and then got into a scuffle with these two other idiots that was also acting an ego, and then now it resulted into the death of one of these young men. You get to that premise and you stick to it, and then at least this kid, Carmel Anthony, would have had a better shot in this freaking justice system. But no, that's not. You put flame onto the freaking fire. You pour gasoline onto it, right? Every donation was a slap, and then with the comment that says that, yeah, F these crackers, or all the other malicious comments, that just adding fuel to the fire, right? So then now the jury that's selected, in the age of social media, how the hell they cannot know what the hell's been going on? Of course they're gonna read about these cases, these comments, these cases and all that stuff, right? To think that public opinion doesn't affect a jury pool, it's asinine. They're not gonna be unbiased. No. They're gonna do their research. They're gonna see how, like, this kid is being held up as in, like, yeah, he's a freaking hero for killing one of theirs, right? And you're not in the era anymore where they're gonna, like, let you go with your bullshit because you're black. The black privilege is running thin now. It's in the era of George Floyd where you have like carte blanche to act a fool. They're like, nah, we gotta let these niggas in check. They gotta let you know it's no longer okay to just like act a fool, like kill them, and think you can get away with it scotch-free by actually like burning half of the city or threaten them to actually get your way. No, that era is coming to an end. And unfortunately, this kid Carmelo Anthony might be that sacrificial lamb that might have to pay that price for your fucking ego, for your ideology, for your race war. That's it. And that sucks. That sucks. But I'm like, I really feel for this kid. Like, I hope that he doesn't get too much years, but he gotta serve sometimes. I'm sorry, he gotta serve sometimes because you took a life, nigga. Like, bro, you gotta serve sometimes. But I don't want his whole life to be wasted because of some sort of ideological war or some sort of race war bullshit, because motherfuckers is like applauding the fact that some white kid lost their life at the hand of a black kid, and yeah, turn this whole shit, instead of 2 idiots or 3 idiots get into a scuffle, shit got out of hand, now you turn it into like, yeah, this is for our ancestors type of bullshit, But anyway, shit, I was supposed to keep drawing and stuff, and I didn't even do much, man. I kind of got lost. You can't even see it, can you? See, like, but yeah, anyway, I'm out of here, guys. So it's my perspective on the matter. And I think with all the thing that's going on, black fatigue, Karen fatigue, and all this other stuff, people are tired. People are tired of bad behavior. People are tired of entitlement. People are just tired of those who want to act like a total cunt and using race and sex as a shield to continue to get away with bad behavior. You see what they're doing in cruise lines, right? They getting rid of rap music. you think like they getting rid of rap music because what, white people don't like rap? No, they getting rid of that shit because of you niggas. They're tired of like the alcohol is flowing, right? And then y'all just have to act a fool. And people are like, nope. Bro, it's like, it's y'all niggas making us look bad. And we're tired of this shit. We really want to get to what Martin Luther King wanted, which is judge people by the content of their character, but not the color of their skin, right? If anyone's acting like an asshole, you call them out, regardless of whatever the color they are. That's it. We no longer want to see you keep hiding behind being black, because we're all black. A lot of us know how to behave. We have to be the one that call out the fuckeries. We have to be the one that call out some of the bullshit, right? That's it. We're tired of your bullshit. Yeah, anyway. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.